y'all, what's going on? Chinese here. I hope you all have a lovely day, that you are engaged in some kind of activity that brings you joy. Reading, writing, watching a movie, a television series, painting your toenails, playing with your video games, playing with your children, whatever it takes. I hope you're having a lovely day. So, I'm a repeat watcher of movies, if you all haven't noticed. For those who are following me, if I love a movie or a television series, I will repeat watch it. I got it from my mother, okay? Um, I was watching the 1989 adaptation of A Raisin in the Sun, directed by Bill Duke, written by Lorraine Hansberry, and in this adaptation rather, you they they use the actual script that she wrote, whereas in the film adaptation starring Sidney Poitier and Diane Sands and Ruby Dee and the other actresses, I'm sorry, I forget their names, they omitted quite a few scenes and monologues, and I discovered that principally when I watched this 1989 adaptation directed by Bill Duke. And I remember never really caring for the for the Ruth character that Ruby Dee portrayed in the film adaptation. I was just like, she's very uninteresting. I don't care. But watching this 1989 television adaptation of A Raisin in the Sun with the entirety of the script, I really like that character. I really connect with her. I'm not her in any way. I would approach it differently, but I'm engaged. I was engaged by this actress's interpretation of Ruth, and I even more so engrossed with the fullness of her humanity that was written in the play that I didn't see in the movie adaptation. Some scenes that she interacted with Walter the Younger, you don't even see in the film adaptation, and in this version you just see her bloom and you see her complexity, which make her more interesting for me to experience. And shout out to the actress, I don't recall her name, I'm sorry, who portrayed the Ruth character. But I would love to portray the Ruth character, if someone's offered me the opportunity, or if I audition for it and they offer it to me, because I see the fullness of her humanity in the original version, right? Lorraine Hansberry was so gifted and so mature, to write such a complicated, layered, intelligent, so smartly written play. I'm like, how does she have that much wisdom at such a young age? She clearly incorporated her wisdom, what she observed, what she researched, the knowledge she took in. So all that was an amalgamation of all of those components, right? But it's so intelligently written. I'm just flabbergasted. I'm in awe of her artistry. I'm in awe. It's like the this play story is centered around, this family relying on insurance money as a result of the husband dying, right? On the south side of Chicago in the mid-50s. So pre-civil rights movement, or the second leg of it, rather. And like there was the Ruth, the Benita character is in medical school, or wants to go to medical school. She's an undergrad medical student, I believe, yeah. And Ruth is a domestic, and then you have Travis, the 11-year-old son, and Walter Lee Younger is, of course, he's a chauffeur for a Caucasian man, a rich Caucasian man. And then, of course, Mama Younger, Lena Younger, is a domestic as well, but I'm thinking that she's in between. She's like semi-retired. And Walter Lee Younger is the only person in the house being forthright about what he wants, the plans he has with that $10,000 insurance money. And everybody else, for the most part, is pretending like it's mama's money. Like the Benita, the sister's acting like she don't care about the money. It's about it's the money is not hers. The Ruth character, the wife, is pretending like it's not the money. She doesn't have any plans with the money. So everybody is acting like, let's say the Ruth character, the wife character, and the Benita, the sister character, they're both pretending like they have no plans with the money, when in fact they do. Whereas Walter Lee is very outright about it, and they try to make him feel guilty about having plans. It's like, this man is an employee. He no longer wants to be an employee. He wants to be an employer. And they're fighting him, right? And there was a line that the Ruth character and the mama, Lena Younger, says, the mother says, like, she's like, we should go into business. Walter Lee was talking about, I'm paraphrasing, we should go into business. And then mama says, well, we ain't no business folks. And Ruth says, well, ain't nobody business folks until they go into business. Duh. And I'm like, I like the simplicity of that line. It's like, wow, exactly. But as black people in this country, because we haven't had the resources, and I'm talking about the masses, not anomalies, not individuals. The masses, the collective of black people, have not had the resources, the generational wealth to start businesses. So we have been in a position of being an employee, from being enslaved to being employees as a collective. I have to keep stressing it, because somebody will be like, there's individuals who, yes, and shout out to them. But for the masses, we are employees because of where we are financially in this country. And that's why they were resting so much on this $10,000 insurance money, so Walter dream can be realized, Ruth dream can be realized, Benita, the undergrad medical school, can be realized. Travis had, their son, I'm sure he had goals. And they clashed because mama, who the money, she's a true recipient, ultimately it was up to her to decide what to do with the $10,000, right? Which created all this conflict and tension and unrest in the house. It's the way it unfolds is so intricate and interesting and moving. How each character navigates, have to readjust their plans because of what happens with the money. But it's just a great tale of black people having dignity and having to be resilient, having to do without, having to survive, as opposed to thriving. And I just love how, even as a West African Nigerian character that interacts with Benita, who has a romantic feelings for her, and he talks about even the challenges that he faces in his own country, growing up in a rural area of Nigeria, and trying to change things as Americans and American blacks are trying to change things in this country for the betterment of the group, not individuals. And he talks about a parallel story that he's experiencing. I like how she tied in all that into pretty much us being economically on the outskirts of wealth transfer, right? Because of policies put in place. And she does it so eloquently, while it being very grounded and down to earth, accessible to anybody of any educational level. So I'm just in such awe of her writing. If I can even come close to if I can come to 25% of her writing, I would be happy. But I take much pride in the stories she chose to share about the American black community, American black family, and that despite our limited resources, we are a proud people. We are a people who are complicated. We're not a monolith. We all have different aspirations. And it just tugs at my heart. It makes me cry every time I watch it. So if you get an opportunity, please experience A Raisin in the Sun, the television adaptation that was released in 1989 on PBS. You can find it on YouTube under Black Tree TV. I believe it's Real Black TV YouTube channel. Real Black, REEL, Black TV. And experience this beautiful, touching, intelligent narrative by Lorraine Hansberry. Peace. Chinese.